Welcome to the topic on grasses and grasslands part 2,
an attempt to present a discussion on such aspects as production potential of grasslands, causes of their degradation, various theories of their origin and existence, and their sustainable utilization will be made again in a brief manner. Grasses, natural grasslands and human rangelands. We know cattle and other livestock range over half of the earth's surface, feeding on grassland vegetation. So important are they to human nutrition that in many parts of the world, domesticated animals outnumber humans 3:1. Grasses are abundant on land and will grow under almost any set of environmental conditions, although they become dominant only where trees and shrubs are not able to flourish. A few species of grasses grow in fresh water, but there are no marine forms. Grasses vary quite considerably in their size, from a few inches to as much as 20 feet, while bamboos, which are also grasses, may attain heights of 100 feet or 30 meters. The grasses which grow in tropical regions attain much greater heights than those occurring in the cooler areas of higher latitudes. Now, grassland production. The fixing of energy at any trophic level in the ecosystem is called production. It is usual to distinguish between primary production of photosynthetic plants and secondary production of animals, and to measure both in calories per unit area and weight of dry matter produced. Production per unit time is called productivity. Besides its great importance in agriculture, forestry, and fisheries, the study of productivity is fundamental to understanding many aspects of the functioning of ecosystems. The productivity of agriculturally unimproved temperate grasslands ranges between 0.5 and 3 grams per meter square per day. Traxic has estimated the average annual productivity of a Descampsia cespitosa meadow near Varsa as 2 to 2.1 grams per meter square per day. A recent study of single species grassland productivity in the northern Pennines gave maximum figures of more than 10 grams per meter square per day for Lolium perine, Anthoxanthum odoratum, and Cynosurus cristatus for short periods in May. Total annual production, however, ranged from about 500 to 700 grams per meter square. Primary productivity is apparently very inefficient, as a maximum of about only 1% of solar energy is fixed by green plants, the remainder being lost to the ecosystem. The efficiency of energy transfer increases at the higher trophic levels, and some insect parasitoids are particularly efficient in this respect. Species diversity. The many narrow pathways of energy transfer in a natural ecosystem are one aspect of the diversity of the system. Species diversity of grasslands, as of other ecosystems, is a measurable quantity, high values of which are regarded as being correlated with stability, maturity, resistance to change, and low productivity in the ecosystem. Grasslands and shrublands are both very rich in animal and plant species, but forests, especially tropical rainforests, are generally accepted as being the richest ecosystems. Now, population dynamics. Understanding the population dynamics of grassland animals is essential for the conservation of individual species. It also provides an extremely important method of examining the nature and composition of communities in a functional sense. The study of one species inevitably involves the examination of its prey, parasites, predators, and competitors, and so the whole community. The vertebrate fauna of grasslands. The richest grassland vertebrate fauna are found in the savannas of tropical Africa and includes a complex assemblage of grazers, browsers, and predators. Savanna grassland, with its scattering of bushes, is more productive than pure grassland. In temperate regions, grassland vertebrate faunas are generally much less rich because the vegetation is restricted to a single major stratum. Bird life tends to be limited in range of species, except in the wetter areas, and the mammalian faunas are characterized by small burrowing animals and a few others which are adapted for fast running on the surface. The faunas are limited not only by vegetation structure but also by the availability of lower plant biomass material. Now, origin, appearance and existence of grasslands on the planet Earth. Graminoids or poids are as already discussed in part 1, are among the most versatile life forms. They became widespread towards the end of the Cretaceous period, and fossilized dinosaur dung coprolites have been found containing phytoliths of a variety of grasses that include grasses that are related to modern rice and bamboo. The appearance of mountains in the western United States during the Miocene and Pliocene epochs, a period of some 25 million years, created a continental climate favorable to the evolution of grasslands. Existing forest biomes declined and grasslands became much more widespread. Following the Pleistocene ice ages, grasslands expanded in range in the hotter, drier climates and began to become the dominant land feature of the world. Anthropogenic grasslands often occur in much higher rainfall zones, as high as 200 centimeter annual rainfall. Grasslands can exist naturally in areas with higher rainfall when other factors prevent the growth of forests, such as serpentine barrens, where minerals in the soil inhibit most plants from growing. Average daily temperatures range between 20 to 30 degrees Celsius. Temperate grasslands have warm summers and cold winters with rain or some snow. Now, theories of origin and evolution of grasslands. A number of theories have been advocated as explanations for the origin of natural grasslands on Earth. These include: number 1, climatic theory. It has long been held that grasslands, whether temperate or tropical, are a response to climatic conditions with alternating seasons of rainfall and drought. The paleoecologists consider that Tertiary period provided optimum conditions for the appearance of grasslands in the New and Old worlds. Grasslands are cradle of human civilization and possibly of their evolution too. Second theory is the anthropogenic theory. Many authorities, however, now question the traditional view of a climatic origin of grasslands and believe that the grasslands do not represent a true climax vegetation. It is averred that the grasslands as they now appear are entirely or at least partially man-made, being product of tree clearance, shifting cultivation and periodic burning over a long period. Third theory is the pyrogenic theory. It's true that burning of vegetation was and remains still a common practice among primitive and backward people. It was undertaken for a variety of reasons, including the clearing of forests for tillage, the improvement of pasture for animals, for driving game in the hunt, etc. It is true too that in many areas, for example, West Africa, forest is on the retreat as a result of man's activities, and that there has been a wide extension of grassland and desert. And the implication of this is that if a stop was put to this vegetation degradation, the forest might well reassert itself. For example, Sauer has described how trees have naturally invaded patches of prairie land that have escaped cultivation. It seems entirely feasible that forest might spread again in marginal areas should human interference cease, but it seems very doubtful whether trees would recolonize all the grassland areas. There are many supporters of the idea that grasslands are either man-made or maintained by fire, natural fire resulting from lightning, but the extreme view that practically all grasslands are the result of firing hardly seems tenable. In South America, there are very extensive areas of tropical grassland, and while it is recognized that some areas of Pampas are the result of forest clearance and firing, one finds it difficult to believe that these extensive American savannas were due either wholly or substantially to human interference, particularly in view of the fact that these same areas must always have been, as in truth vast areas still are, very sparsely peopled. while about South African savannas one can conceive to have been man-made, as these have remained well peopled. There is one more theory, that's pedologic theory. Other commentators have suggested that the pedological / soil factors are of paramount importance for the origin of grasslands. There is one more theory called landscape evolution and climatic change theory, or we call that antiquity theory. From the conclusions of studies of Troll, Cole and Weaver, it seems likely that climatic, edaphic, biotic, pyrogenic and anthropogenic influences, individually or severally, may all have contributed to the origin, maintenance and appearance of grasslands of the world. Now, we also discuss some distinguishing characters of grasses, because grasses are important plants. The grasses are successful invaders and are capable of colonization in various habitats due to their adaptability on account of following distinguishing characters. Grasses occur from hydrophytic to xerophytic environment. Many of them possess xeromorphic adaptations, lifespan from annual to perennial, habit from trailing to erect, size from small to dendroid, meristematic activity in the intercalary zone of the stem, rooting habit superficial, high reproductive capacity and reproducing sexually as well as asexually, quick dispersal ectozoic and endozoic, wide ecological amplitude, cynodon for example, lawn grass, occurring in submerged habitats as well as on dry soils and on mountains and plains. Grasses can withstand trampling, grazing and fire. Pioneer species in primary and secondary successions. Growth form is different and suits various ecological niches. Nodes have ability to produce roots as well as shoots. Position of buds is below the soil. Elasticity of internodes to resist the stress of bending. Grasses are tolerant to poor conditions. Grasses are mostly wind pollinated. The characters that provides their great adaptability to occur in situations unfavorable for tree growth.
With this, we conclude the grasses and grasslands part 2, and in the part 3, which will remain as the last part of the topic, we shall try to have a discourse on such aspects of the grasslands as ecological categorization of world grasslands, classification of grasslands of Indian region, and strategies for sustainable grassland and rangeland management.